Hi everybody, I'm Paul Lemiski. I hope you're having a fantastic day. We're going to be in the shop today. Justin's going to be giving you a rundown of some finished projects we have leaving the shop. And Troy's going to be up on the Wood-Mizer sawmill cutting some beautiful Canadian black walnut into 1.25 inch thick bacon slabs. Thanks to Big Steve for the help up there. You're the man, Steve. Hopefully you're watching. Everyone, enjoy the video. Make it a great one.
Hey guys, Monday morning. We're back here from a nice weekend. This particular desk we poured last week, and it was actually kind of interesting with this one because we poured at the beginning of the week and we used our Chem Craft, which normally 2 to 3 days, it really starts firming up, and by the third day you can usually knock on it. Well, this thing as of Friday, which is, we're looking at almost 4 days in, was still soft, but we know why that was the case. Middle of winter, our shop isn't as warm as what it is in the summer, the spring, or the fall. We're probably hovering around 15 degrees, so a little chilly, but it's not too bad. We're fine in here. But what it does for the epoxy is, with the ideal temperature being around 22 degrees, with that temperature being lower, it kind of it affects the cure rate of the epoxy, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, you don't want it to be so cold in the shop that it really affects it. But to be the couple degrees colder, what it does is it slows down the process. With that, what can happen is, if you're worried about bubbles or anything like that, this can be something that really helps it. When too much heat occurs, what can happen is it really pulls air out of the wood. So with the cool temperatures, the epoxy doesn't reach that high temperature, which is going to pull a lot of air out of the wood from spots you haven't sealed before. So it actually worked out very good for us, the way this pour did. If we take our durometer, so we're about a week now in with this Chem Craft, reading 0. We're sitting at 81, 82. So that's very good for this epoxy. In relation, if you were to put this on solid glass, that's about 100. So yeah, it was definitely really neat to see how this one worked out with how the temperature in the shop affected it. In comparison, we did a second pour down in our showroom. That one we used the same product, we used the same amount, and that one we were actually hard within 3 days. So, and down in the shop we're sitting probably around 20 degrees versus in here we're around 15, and this one took a good extra 2 days to get to the state that one was in it. It's really cool to see that, and that's not saying there was any issues with the showroom one. It poured perfectly as well, but it just shows how temperature can really make a difference with the epoxy. So what we're going to do with this now is we're going to be demolding it. We're going to be setting the form up exactly how it is again. We're going to do another pour with this exact same size, because this is a multi-desk order we're doing. So the plan with this is we're getting this one out, new one goes in. Let's keep going. This piece here was something we showed you guys in our last woodworking video. This is how our product turned out. Like I said, what we did was we did our profiled edges before we did the glue up with our tape, and it worked out perfect. We had no squeeze out or anything to have to deal with. So virtually we took the tape off. We finished the bottom, we flipped it over, did our final sand on the sides, we did a little bit of touch up, but then did our final sand on our faces too, and turned out beautiful. This piece in particular, after conversing with the customer, we decided to go with the Rubio 5% white. Now with the Rubio Pure, that's the natural finish. What it does is it does add a little bit of a yellow tinge to it, not like it's yellow on your board, but it gives it a little bit of sheen and luster. Whereas the look this customer wanted is they wanted it to be more brighter. They wanted the wood to look more whiter than a normal natural finish. So we did some samples with the Rubio 5% white, and this is what we came out with. And it actually looks identical. It looks identical to the natural color without finish, but feels super smooth. It's too bad you can't feel it through the video there, but it turned out awesome. You can look on the ends how the waterfalls turned out, because you couldn't really see it when it was upside down. But you can see the point of the waterfall is when you have these grain lines, you come up and it continues. Because what this is one continual piece of wood. So when you're laying this out for your project, what you need to consider is not only the length of the table or the bench or whatever it is you're making, you need to consider the length of the legs as well. So it's always something you need to consider and put some thought into. And when you do all that, you can have a piece turn out just like this. All right, so this piece here, this is a nice piece of maple that we got that we're doing for a client. This piece was kind of interesting. You can see we got some pretty significant cracks in the middle. A lot of the time when we have these cracks, we like to clamp it to the boards or to the horses because that makes it flat. Now this table, when we'd run it through the planer with these cracks, it would flex it down, and then what would happen there is as it comes out of the planer, it goes back to where it wants to go. So with these cracks, what we had to do is we've got a pour board on the bottom because there was a lot of cracking on the bottom, so we already had the board, so to save us doing all the taping and everything, all we did was we caulked it on the bottom, so we're sealed tight on the bottom with this board, tuck tape board that was already there. We put a wall on the end. What we've done is we've clamped everything all together, to the horses, to the board, everything. So what this enabled is this slab is now flattened. With us clamping everything, pouring the epoxy, what this epoxy is going to do is it's going to hold the wood in the position it's in. So when we release these clamps, what shouldn't happen is it shouldn't cup up. Because now the epoxy is bonded to the wood, it's sealed to the wood, and it's going to help hold the flat position, because what could happen is you're going to keep planing and planing and planing, because every time you look at it outside the planer, it looks cupped. So you're going to keep planing and planing, and then you're going to lose all your thickness of a beautiful piece of wood that you could have salvaged. You can even just look on this wall. You can see it looks flat. It is a little bit of an angle, but it's a consistent angle. That's another thing you can do with epoxy. Now, we do got to do a little bit more to this piece. You can see some spots have really, the epoxy really sunk. It really absorbed into the wood. So we're going to do a top up today. So when we come back to it tomorrow, we're going to be able to keep machining this and get this table done into its happy home. All right, so this is the last piece we'll show you today. This was the third part of a job we did for a customer who brought in their own wood to be sawmilled and dried. We really, really love how this one turned out. We did a base black pour with a clear epoxy on top with a beautiful piece of maple in the middle. So it's got some spalting, it's got a really, really cool knot that has spalting within the knot. To top it all off, we added a little shelf for them as well. So this whole project was fabricated here. We do not do a lot of metalworking, but we do dip our toes into it a little bit when it's a small enough job that we can achieve here. Yeah, what we really loved about this piece is how everything kind of blended together. There wasn't too much of one thing over the other. Everything really complements each other. So it's not always big projects that go through here. We do lots of little jobs like this. As you know, if you check out our website or our Instagram, we do lots of charcuterie boards. It doesn't always have to be a big, long river table. These little jobs are something we love to do as well. And honestly, sometimes they're the coolest looking jobs. So if you ever have any creative ideas you like or things you want to do with us and brainstorm some projects for you, always reach out to us, because we'll never turn down little jobs like this, especially when they turn out this good.
Hey guys, it's Troy from Legacy Lumber again. If you guys watched the Slabber Day video, we used the Wood-Mizer LT40 to cut some wormy soft maple last week. Today we're doing 5/4 walnut, and Andy's going to get all the footage.
All right, that's another Woodworking Life. Finally, some projects heading out of the shop. Some new lumber cut. That'll be air drying for a little bit. Then we're going to get it kiln dried and shipped off to all of our dealers. If you guys don't already know, Legacy Lumber is my urban salvaged live edge lumber company. We specialize in live edge lumber from trees that are cut down in people's backyards most of the time. We're very close to the cities around us, Toronto, Burlington, Oakville, Newmarket, Aurora, and a lot of trees are getting cut down that have lived their life already. They're dangerous, possibly limbs are falling off, so they do get removed. And thankful for some partnerships we have with a lot of local tree service companies that we're able to get these logs, sawmill them, and turn them into some beautiful lumber. The lumber is available at our dealers all over North America, right from California to New Brunswick here in Canada. So we better get back to it. Another Woodworking Life coming at you. Thanks everyone for watching. Smash that like button. Subscribe already. Comment below if you have any questions. Make it a great one.
Oh, stop. I thought of something. No, stop. I know it's wrong. I thought of something good.